Right. All right, it is finally time to start the tapestry crochet along that I've been talking about for so long. So we started a few minutes early so we can just get in here. I'm going to wind up some yarn while we wait for everything to start. Hey Karen, there you are. Do me a favor, Karen, let me know if you can hear me. Hey everybody. Yes, TGIF. TGIF. Hey Shannon, good to see you. I'm just sitting here winding up yarn. I started a few minutes early. I think it takes a little bit of time. Hey little bird Zandra. I'm seeing everybody coming in. Awesome. So I just thought I would wind up my yarn for a few minutes and we could chat. I'm gonna wait until 6:30 to start this. And I want to make sure if there's anybody over on the YouTube side, if you can let me know. Just say hey if you're in there. The YouTube chat thing that I can see doesn't really show me very much. Hey there, Anna Marie, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for the heart, little bird. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We're just gonna keep chatting for a bit. Hey, Christine. Let me switch this over. Thank you for the heart, Karen. I appreciate it, you guys. I'm so excited. I have been, first of all, what is better than starting a new project? I mean, really, almost nothing. And I will give up any project to start a new project. Yeah, so starting a new project's my favorite. This will be my 7th whip. But the good news is because I've been working on some other stuff, now I'm going to be able to just kind of hyper focus on a few projects that I have to get done that have some timelines and some deadlines. So I'm working a little bit every day on the giveaway blanket. Oh, thanks for the level up, Sparks, little bird. Yep, there we go. Anna Marie, I see you on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was just making sure everybody could hear me on both sides. And let's see, what time is it? 6:28. I got 2 more minutes, people. All right, let's get this scooched out of the way. Writing is Fun is here. Thank you for checking in. I was just letting everyone know. I've got 2 minutes and I'm not going to start early on this, but I did want to just wind up some yarn. So if you are planning on working on a reversible project like I'm working on, then balls of yarn are going to be your friend. Now, I do know the first part of the pattern we're going to work on is the border at the bottom. And so the first 400 stitches of this blanket are all going to be in this terracotta color or whatever color you choose for the border. So I'm winding up some of these into little balls, but I also have a part of a skein left over that I'd used for the Vibes blanket. So this is one of the colors that I used in the Vibes blanket. And so I'm going to actually start with that one, but I thought while I sat here, hey Bobby, good to see you. I thought while I sat here I would just wind up some yarn. It's probably one of the parts that is most boring to me is winding the yarn. I just want to get in and do the work. 1 more minute. Thanks for the follow, Bobby. All right, Writing is Fun says, how many rows do you think we'll get each evening? I was actually wondering that myself earlier. If I had to guess, see, here's the thing, because I've not done something like this before, I just have no clue at all. If I had to guess though, I think I'll probably get through 5 or 6 rows tonight, potentially, because I'm just going to be able to just crochet without counting. So for those of you who cannot crochet as quickly as I can, or whatever the situation may be, obviously everything here is going to save on YouTube. So if you're on TikTok and you come in late or you need to catch up, head over to YouTube. All of the lives are saved in YouTube. And then you can also work on this offline too, because the pattern is a free download for you. So, all right, here we go. It is 6:30 my time. Hey, thanks for the follow, Ivan's wife. So, I don't have a lot of yarn management to talk about tonight. I've done a video about this, so I'm just going to get into it. And I am going to start with my chain 80. So, at the end of my chain 80, we are going to add a couple more chains depending on which stitch type you're doing. If you're doing a single crochet, you're going to do the 80 plus 1 because you'll need 1 to turn. If you're doing half double crochet like I am, you're going to do 80 plus 2. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. This is my stitch counter, guys. Let's put my stitch counter here in front of me, and I'm gonna get started. So chain 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 plus, oops, that last one caught a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have an iPhone, and I don't know if Android does the same, but on iPhone I can say 10 plus 10 equals, and then if I just keep hitting equals each time, it adds another 10 for me. So welcome in, Mary. Oh, welcome in, Anna. We're just getting started here on our Tapestry Crochet Along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 20 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, one more for me. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I've got my 80 chains. And if you guys can check in with me on occasion, let me know where you're at. I know that Karen is ahead. She actually started early. She sent me a video earlier. And she, I think, is on row 20, or was on row 20 back then. So, all right, so I did my 80 chains. I need to chain 2 because I'm doing half double crochet. And then I'm going to half double crochet into the 3rd chain from my hook. And then I'm going to half double crochet all the way across. Anna Marie says 44. Very good. I think crocheting into the 1st row is the worst. There is the foundation stitch that you can do instead of a chain and crocheting. There is a foundation stitch you can do. I have done it a few times, and for whatever reason, I just go back to what I'm used to. I think it's going to be the same thing as the magic circle versus a chain 3 and slip stitch. You know, some people prefer a magic circle, some people prefer to chain 3 and slip stitch. I prefer the chain 3 and slip stitch. So, and I think I'd never heard of a magic circle until a couple years ago, but I've also seen people's magic circles flying apart, and that scares me. So I really don't want to deal with that. Anyways, crocheting into the first couple rows is so awkward because my hands, I rely on my hands a lot, is kind of holding the work, holding my fabric as I work. So it's and usually it's also guiding stuff. Like when I crochet, I'm not using my thumb and my forefinger. I'm actually just kind of lightly holding. I'm not gripping this at all. I'm basically just lightly holding this, and I'm guiding it to move where it needs to move, but I am not wielding it like a tool. And that came from years and years of crocheting with a very tight grip, which is very normal to do, and getting hand cramps. And hey, Mr. Double, good to see you. Getting hand cramps and stuff, it sucks. It sucks to have your hand cramp up. And so I think I started trying to hold it a little bit lighter. So mostly I just feel like I'm just kind of pushing the needle around, or the hook around. So, and my fingers, where I hold it, I mostly hold it with my thumb and my middle finger. This one is here just to balance, counterbalance. And I usually hold them on the flat part of my hook. I use the Boy, B-O-Y-E, Boy brand. There's a couple hook types. There's your inline and your taper. I think this one's called, oh, I don't remember which one is called which, but there's one that's got more of a pointy end and a sharp bend, and then mine is more like rounded. So this is what I learned on. This is what I'm comfortable with. Okay, Karen says this is tapered. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I did get a pack of inlines once. I tried them. I didn't love it. And I feel like I was splitting the yarn more. But I've also heard from other people that the tapered, the kind that I use, makes the yarn split more. So I suppose that's why we have so many different kinds, so we can all do what we need. I've also seen ones where people have ergonomic handles or big thick handles. I've seen people put their crochet hook through a tennis ball. So my guess is that would be somebody who's holding it like, maybe like this. I don't know which grip this is. I think this is the knife grip. This is the pencil grip, I believe. So I don't know what mine is called. I think mine would be more similar to a pencil grip. Writing is fun says, I'm not sure my chain is right. Let's just hope it is. Well, that's the very beginning of the entire project. We've got to make sure we've got 80 of these things. I think once the first couple rounds are done, it's so much easier. So you guys, what's your preferred way to hold a hook? I mean, do you do pencil grip or knife grip? Or again, I don't know if mine would be considered something different than a pencil. This is certainly not how I hold a pencil. I feel like I hold it similar to the way I hold chopsticks if I'm holding just one single chopstick. I feel like this is almost how I hold the top chopstick. So, all right, let's get to the end here. Karen says, I love the Clover and more. They use a hybrid. I'm a mix between the inline and tapered. Oh, I didn't realize they had one of those. Writing is fun said, I hold my hook. I hold my hook. Do you hold it, writing is fun, do you hold it like this? Or do you hold it like this? Over? Do you hold it over or under? Little Bird does knife. I must have been taught the pencil grip and then learned to relax it over the years, because I think what I'm doing most closely resembles pencil grip. But I feel like I'm using so much of my hands, like my left hand here, I'm constantly scooching it around. It's these little micro movements to kind of manipulate the stitch toward the needle. Not only do I put the needle toward the stitch, but I also use my left hand to kind of manipulate the fabric so that the needle can go in easier. And I think that's probably just something from having done this for a while. So I do notice if my hands do start cramping, which is rare, there are some stitches though that'll get me. That front post the front post puff stitch, those little white knobby stitches that were all over in that last giveaway blanket I did, those, if there were too many in some of those bigger rounds, I literally, my wrists would be so crampy, because that, you are just, oh my gosh, it's like I don't even know. It's like something. It's like something that makes you bend your wrist a lot. There. Fill in the rest of the joke for me. I can't think of something but seriously, it was just like this round and round and round, because you had to yarn over like 1,000 times. And then you're also doing a front post, which is already kind of hard to maneuver. All right, so Writing is Fun says the second example or something similar. So it sounds like knife. And that's what Little Bird does too. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row. I'm going to go ahead and stop and count once for myself. I don't have a problem, usually don't have a problem with dropping stitches, but I do like to stop and count on my foundation row, because I learned the hard way that it's much harder to add a stitch at the end than it is to just figure it out now. So let's make sure. I don't want to get into another part of the row before I find out I've not done it correctly. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, buddy. Moment of truth. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, sweet. Karen says, I hold mine opposite of a pencil. TikTok won't let you say the K word, won't let you say knife. So I think a lot of people hold it the knife way, which was surprising to me again once I saw it for the first time, to realize how differently everybody holds, like the way I hold my yarn. Now I realize that the way I hold my tension in my left hand, holding it between my fingers like this, I learned is not common. A lot of people do this. Oh, and I want to do this so bad, or whatever way, like that. Oh man, that just looks like the way a grown-up would crochet, but I can't. My other fingers don't do what I want them to do, and I feel like I've just been holding my yarn tension this way for a long time, and I've got good tension, so no need to change it up. But I think the other way just looks so much nicer. Oh, come on, buddy. I'm finding that this terracotta, there's some of the Hobby Lobby colors that I feel are nicer than others. Not nicer. I feel like the colors are different textures for some reason, and not every time, but some of the lighter or the neutral colors like white and linen and the gray beard, those ones have seemed to be quite a bit scratchier. And then I've noticed a lot of the cool colors like blues and greens, in my opinion so far, have tended to be a lot fluffier and softer. And then the warmer colors, I don't know, they feel shinier. I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels like it's not the same. The cooler colors feel more matte, and these warmer colors feel shinier, especially this terracotta. It almost looks like glowing copper. It's crazy. Lola said, how many chains did you do to start the second round? So I did 80 chains. I did 80 chains to start, and then I added 2 chains at the end. So I did 82 chains. And then after that, I am doing my 80 half double crochet. The first 4 rows or 5 rows of this is all the same thing, just 80 half double crochet over and over of the same color. And you guys, I totally forgot. I'm supposed to be saying out loud because some people don't like reading patterns, so I apologize. I finished my first row of 80 half double crochet. I counted it, and then I chained 2 and then turned my work because I'm doing a half double crochet. If you're doing a single crochet, you will always chain 1 and turn. If you're doing a half double crochet, you will chain 2 and turn. I've also seen people chain 1 and turn with half double crochet. So if you feel like your sides are really lumpy, if you're doing half double crochet like I am, and it feels like your edges are really lumpy, you can try chaining 1. Some of that's all gonna vary based on tension too. It's really crazy how much your tension will change up. What works for you versus what works for other people. All right, Anna Marie says, she's knife, writing is fun. So do you think if the amount of dye and type changes the texture? Yes, that's what I was thinking. And I'm glad that you said that, because I forgot to actually mention that. I do think that's what it is. It's got to be something to do with whatever they use to dye it. And maybe certain yarn textures accept different colors better than others. I have done, and when I was younger, we did some natural dyeing things. I was homeschooled for a few years, and so we had some units on different nature things, and one of them was natural dyes, and so we used different things to dye things like onion skins and whatever. And we also did some experiments, you know, like with dandelion tops make a bright yellow dye, and guess what, they do not. I don't even remember. I think it made a light green color. Anyway, so it's probably different textures even might accept different colors better, because that was one of the things we learned, was different types of fibers absorb different dye types differently. Hey, Erin. All right, Lola, I'm working on at the Tapestry Crochet Along. I think it should be up in the upper corner of my screen. It's just a little picture. We're doing a snake plant tapestry crochet. We're just starting it tonight. We're working on it together. And I am just now on row 2 of this. And we'll be doing this one live weeknights at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And then if you miss anything, Lola, and you need to catch up or the timing doesn't work for you, you can head over to YouTube, and YouTube saves all my live videos as well. Hey, thanks for the heart, Erin. All right, so this is the other trap, guys. If you're not used to making blankets or something long and flat like this, so if you're used to it, great, you already know what to do. But your first row, I'm getting ready, I'm here at the end of my first row. My very first stitch is kind of hidden. And so I just shove my yarn in there and try to find it. It's always at the end of my second row, sorry. The last stitch of my first row is always kind of bent up. So just make sure I didn't drop anything. And if you're worried about dropping stitches, if you're not sure if you need to pick up an extra piece or an extra stitch at the end, stop and count. So, all right, you guys, hey, Angel Heart, thank you for the heart. All right, writing is fun. Your chain was correct. Very good. Nothing's worse than having to redo a chain. All right, you guys, I just finished row 2. And I'm sorry, I keep saying round because you can tell I'm working on several blankets in the round as well. Just finished row 2, and I'm getting ready to do row 3. Just like row 1 and row 2, row 3 is just 80 stitches of this same color. We are working on the border right now. So the first 5 and the last 5 rows of this blanket are just going to be kind of this boring thing. So I like it though, because I did a blanket once where the pattern, like I designed this blanket and the design went all the way down. I even had to do a split color chain because I didn't have a border of any sort. I had just the pattern went straight down, and so I had to do a split color chain. That was interesting. I don't recommend. I did figure it out, but it wasn't fun. So it's just so much harder to hold the yarn when your work is little like this. So after doing that one pattern, that's what made me decide I need borders. I like borders. So first couple rows might be boring, but then it gives your hand something to grip onto. So yes, Karen says stitch markers on each end help as well. And that's something, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I forget about stitch markers, you guys. If you are not familiar with them, they're little doodads. Mine kind of look like bobby pins. They're plastic, but I've seen others that are loops, or what I've actually used, what's it called? Paper clips. So I've used paper clips before. Really, you can even grab a piece of yarn and just loop it through the end. But stitch markers, if you're unsure of how to count your rows, or you're not good at seeing those types of things, if you put a stitch marker as you finish each row, then you'll be able to see. It's a very easy visual to show you how many rows you've done. Thank you, Karen, for bringing that up. Sometimes I forget about some of those tools on stuff like this because I don't use them on projects like this, but totally necessary for lots of people. Lola says mine look like safety pins. Yep, mine look like safety pins too. These little colorful ones. They're actually super cute. I remember the first time I saw them, I don't remember, maybe they came in a thing. I had ordered maybe a yarn spinner or something, one of those things that you put your yarn on. They came free with some crochet something that I had purchased. And I was so confused at first because, again, I only ever make blankets. And the blankets that I had made prior to doing stuff like Floral Fantasia, while they were really nice patterns and they were granny squares, they weren't too complicated. So I basically spent about 35 years perfecting my tension, perfecting my basic crochet skills. So I have a hard time when people ask me, do you think an intermediate person or a beginner could do this or that? Because people will ask me what level I think they need to be at. And I feel like I feel like I've got a skewed idea of what's beginner or intermediate or advanced. Because I just stayed at this one level for so long because I didn't consume any social media and didn't see other crocheters. Gosh, it was amazing to start seeing some of this stuff. All right, writing is fun. I might use stitch markers if I can't correctly count the rows. I think I can, but I guess I don't really know. So for me, it's easy as long as I remember to cross off my pattern as I'm going. Like, and eventually you kind of have to, right? The first few rows are really simple, but eventually we're going to come into these places where we're going to have multiple color changes in a row, and you really need to be crossing those off as you go anyways, so you don't get lost. And that's how I don't feel like I get lost on something like this. But if you are crocheting away and you forget to cross off your rows, it could be easy to not catch it. Especially when you're doing something small like single or half double crochet. If you don't know how to count those rows, or if they're harder for you to see, they're so short sometimes it's hard to really guess how many are in there. Hi Wanda, good to see you. Hey Audrey. Just getting started on our crochet along here. All right, here I got to the end of my round. Let me show you this again, you guys. I just got to the end of my round, and this is where I feel like people start losing stitches. They get to the end of the round and they don't see a clear stitch here at the end. I can see it, I know it's in here, but it's part of this chain 2 thing. It's just messy looking, and this is where people end up dropping stitches, I think, because they're not sure if this is a stitch or not. So I know from experience on my crochet that this is a stitch, and so I'm going to pick it up. But if you're not sure, it's always in your best interest to stop and count. Once we're done with these foundation rows, these first 5 rows of the same color, it's going to be a lot easier to tell if you've got enough end stitches, because each beginning and end of each row is going to start and end with this same color. So if you get to the end and you've only done 4 stitches, well, then you know you need to make 1 more. So that should make it a lot easier. And I am getting ready to turn my work, so I'm doing half double crochet. I'm going to chain 2 and turn. You guys, there's also another turn method called a stacked single crochet. Actually, I don't know if that works for a half double though. I'm trying to think if that works for half double. So maybe stacked single crochet doesn't work for a double crochet anyways. I want to get the other patterns designed for this series too, because I am very serious now about doing 3 others of these. I think they'd be cute stitched together, or even if we were to do some like cool cable stripe thing, like oops, sorry guys, I'm sliding off the camera view here. Like if we were to make a long skinny panel that went in between these, if we were to put several of them together, we could do like a cable stitch or something and just practice different really cool stitches. So I already have an idea in mind for who I want. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. I already have an idea in mind for who I want to give this blanket to when it's done, but I know that it's going to be too small to be a blanket. So, oh, you know what? And I've been speculating on how wide mine's going to be this whole time. I can't get it all on the camera, but I guessed about 2.5 feet wide, and I think it's probably 2 1/4 maybe. I'll measure it. I'd like to see how big it ends up being. So if we do a couple of these panels with different plant types on them and then stitch them together, we could end up with an actual blanket. All right, let's see. Writing is fun is about 2/3 of the way through the second row. Very good. Very good. Yes, and you guys, I'm definitely kind of a fast crocheter at stuff like this, so not trying to smoke you on purpose. But I am glad that YouTube saves the videos, and I'm also super glad that I was able to get a pattern out beforehand. If you look at the pattern now, because I did have a lot of people say, I don't like reading patterns, I'm not very good at it. And I'm like, well, I get that, but also this pattern is so different than your standard pattern that's telling you to do different stitch types and different counts and to increase and decrease. With this, it's literally do whatever stitch you're doing this many times in this color. So that's the beauty of it. Karen got going on her own. She got going on her own, and she's already on at least the second page of the instructions. So I love Tapestry Crochet. I love it when you start to see the picture come together. It's amazing. All right. I just need to ask a question of my husband real quick. Are these text messages anything scary? Okay. Sorry, I'm in our family group chat. Is pinging, and I just needed to make sure there's nothing I needed to worry about. That's how moms are. All right. Coming up on the end of row 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I didn't cross off row 3. Do not do what I say. Okay. I will be better about crossing off. These first couple rounds or rows are always the hardest for me to remember to cross off, because you just get in a groove and you just get going. I got a request on YouTube earlier for a mosaic tutorial, so that was awesome to be able to say, hey, yeah, I'm actually going to be doing that and have another blanket idea going. I love mosaic. I'm really, really enjoying it. Lola says, if you crocheted 80 chains to begin and then 2 more to start the first row, how do you end up with just 80 half double crochet? So Lola, when you chain at the end of every row that you do, you have to chain and turn. So if you're doing a row in single crochet, then you will chain 1 at the end of that row and turn, and that's to build some height here on the side. If you don't add that chain, then your sides here are going to get all scrunched together like this. So that chain just adds enough height to the stitch so that your sides stay nice and square. For a half double crochet, I have to do 2 chains. So when I do my first chain 80, I have to add 2 chains at the end of that I don't crochet into. So I get to the end of my chain 80, I add 2 more chains, but my first double crochet is into the 3rd chain from my hook. Yes, so yes, you are right. You said you don't count the first. So if I'm doing a single crochet, I would chain 1 and I would not chain into that. I would not single crochet into that first chain. I would skip it and go into the second one. Because I'm doing half double crochet, I chain 2. So that's why we start with 80 chains. That's the number of stitches. Then I add 2 so that when I turn my work and start working down the row, it doesn't end up scrunching up my work. So I hope that made sense. If ever I'm trying to explain something and it's not clicking, just let me know, because I don't feel like I explain things clearly. Although I've heard that I'm wrong about that. But I have to do a lot of training at my work, and my business partner does more of the training now. At the beginning, I did all of the training of all my employees, and it made me feel so bad, because again, with accounting, I've been doing it for so many years that it's hard for me to remember or even know what people know and don't know. So I think that's where I kind of developed this insecurity about my ability to train people well, is because I feel bad when I feel like I'm flooding people with information. By the way, guys, I am working on row 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just another 80 stitches of terracotta. Just to remind you, the first 5 rows are just this over and over. Pretty boring stuff. But we will get into some color changes. It looks like for me, I'll get into some color changes before the end of this session. Lola says, so the first double crochet is on the 3rd, not the 2nd chain. Correct. So if you're doing a half double crochet, then you are going to skip the first 2 chains. And again, that's why we say chain 80. That's your number of stitches. And then if you're doing half double crochet or double crochet, you will chain 2, and then you'll skip those 2 that you just made and start crocheting into the 80th stitch, which is the 3rd one from your hook. And you'll know if you ever forget to chain before you turn, you'll see your work. I remember when I was very first getting started with crochet, I was young, I was 8 years old, and I remember getting so frustrated because I kept making these really tight looking triangles, and the person who taught me how to crochet wasn't the person who had to guide me through some of my frustration. So my stepmom would just say, okay, I think you're not remembering to do your chain before you're turning. So, and that's all it is. The chain just adds a little bit of height so that when you start your stitches, you're not, it's not starting and being pulled down by the row below you. Anna Marie says you can pause YouTube too. Yes. Can you guys pause a live on YouTube? Can you pause a live on TikTok? I don't know. I'm so bad with this with lives because I've never watched any before. And I'm trying to get better about it now because it's so interesting. I really didn't know what it was about. And I'm also kind of a I don't know what the word. I lose my oh my gosh, I lose my ability to speak English, and I also lose my ability to focus too long. So crochet, it sounds weird because I could sit and crochet for a few hours at a time, but I would be jumping through, listening to books, watching a show, flipping through TikTok while I'm crocheting. And so I just started recently thinking, like, why haven't I been watching lives? I could be on a live and be crocheting and talking to somebody else and listening to them while they do their stuff. So all right, Little Bird is at 5 rows. Erin, yours doesn't look, mine doesn't look like yours. Oh my gosh. What does yours look like? Erin, are you having problems? Lola says, oh, I do crochet and I do know that you have to change as you turn, yeah, chain as you turn it around, but wasn't sure. Very good. Very good. So I'm just counting this like you would any other thing. And you know what? If you crochet the plushies. If you crochet plushies, I have no clue because I've never made one of those. I have no clue what that process looks like. So maybe you guys start a new round and you don't have to chain or something. I didn't even think about that. You might be used to crocheting things differently. All right, Little Bird's ahead of me. Little Bird's at 5 rows. I am just now getting started on my 5th row. Writing is Fun says on YouTube, yes, you can pause lives. I love that. But you fall behind, so pausing without skipping loses the novelty of a live. Okay, that makes sense. Well, that, I guess, as long as you got the pattern in front of you, it shouldn't be that difficult to know what's going on. I really want to be here to support people who have questions like what Lola was saying, because sometimes I don't know what I'm being unclear about. So I really appreciate the feedback. That's amazing. All right, you guys, I am working on my 5th row of terracotta. I will be calling these colors by the names in the pattern. If you are using different colors, obviously, translate for yourself. KK's Corner. Hey, KK. Depends on the plush you decide to do, because no sews, you can just keep going. Oh, okay. So those would be ones where maybe you work, if it's a little round body or something, you would just kind of work in a spiral up. Is that, am I understanding that correctly? I should probably go grab a kit or pick up a pattern and work on one of those. I need to expand into other things as well. I really love crochet so much. Erin says my fingers are going to fall off by the time this is done. Yes. You're holding your hook too tight. That's one of the things that's hardest for people to do, is to get a good grip on their grip. And it took me years too. I think I relaxed my grip, I want to say maybe 8 or 9 years ago, because I remember actually going through the process of relaxing my grip. That sounds really weird, but I intentionally picked up a project and worked on it, and tried to force myself, and I did eventually build the habit of relaxing my grip, and it's why my grip has changed over time. But it's hard, and you don't want to start practicing that in the middle of something because it will change your tension. Little Bird says, yes, they usually work up the spiral. KK's Corner, yes, ma'am. You just need to know your row for the eyes if you use them for plushies. Oh my gosh. I need to make something like that. I bought a pattern for, this is not a plushie. It was a pattern to make your own Hungry Little Caterpillar set. That's what it is. You know what? No, some of it is kind of a plushie, I think, because the caterpillar head. No, but it has an open mouth, so you can, anyways, you make all these little food thingies, so, and you make it, and it matches the number of food items in the Hungry Little Caterpillar book. And I have a granddaughter who, by the way, is the cutest baby in the whole wide world. I'm not even joking, and I'm not biased either. That's a scientific thing. They did studies after she was born on her actual cuteness. And so I bought the pattern so I can make that for her. And I've been really nervous to start. I've been really, really intimidated to start that because I've just never crocheted anything like that before. Writing is fun says, learning amigurumi confused me at first. At the start of a new round, you don't chain. Okay, so then that does make sense. My grip has definitely gotten better and less painful since I started. Very good. And that's what you should see, is constant improvement. If you've been crocheting for years and years and your grip still hurts, like I had been. I mean, I had been crocheting for 20 years almost. By the time I was like, I can't do this. It would suck to crochet anything more than an hour. I'd like have to have my husband massage my hands. And I'm like, this can't be normal. So welcome in. If anybody is coming in here and floating in and out, we are working on a free pattern. You should be able to see a little picture of that. Hey, if somebody on TikTok and somebody on YouTube, can you guys just look? Do you see the little picture of the pattern up in the corner? I just want to make sure that I see it on my side in my monitor, but I don't see the actual live. So let me know. KK's Corner says, using a stitch marker to know where you started the next row helps because changing one messes it up a little bit. Okay, all right. Thank you guys. Karen, Little Bird, you guys see that? Okay, amazing. Oh, all right. I'm done with round 5. Writing is fun over there. Or Anna Marie, if you could just let me know if you see the little picture up in the corner too. It's there. Yay. Okay. Thank you to my husband. He is my tech guy. And I'm not technologically an idiot by any means. I just don't have the patience for all of this stuff. I don't like it. I'd rather just crochet. And so he actually likes doing this stuff. So more power to him. All right. KK's Corner can see it too. And hey there, I forgot to say it back. Okay. I am actually getting into the color change portion. So, you know what I didn't do? I didn't start up a little ball of linen, and I need to make some linen. So I'm going to stop for a minute, give my hands a break, and just ball up a little bit of linen. Oh, you know what though? I bet I'm not going to get so far into this that I couldn't. Nah, I better do what I would normally. I was going to say I'll just work out of the skein for the next couple rows, but I'm just going to follow my normal pattern, which is I don't work out of the skein because I am going to be changing colors and making a reversible pattern. So for those of you who have not worked on something like this before, or who haven't seen some of these lives where I've been doing this and talking about this before, let me get this thing out of my way. Hopefully it's not distracting you guys to see this flashing around. There are 2 ways that I've seen for tapestry, and there's probably some secret third way I don't know about, but I can make either a reversible or a non-reversible project. So reversible means it's going to look the same in the front as it does in the back, meaning I'm not going to have a bunch of strings or yarn carrying across. And so it'll look the same. I'll be weaving in every one of my ends. Or you can do a non-reversible if you don't feel like weaving in as many ends. So figure out what works for you. If you don't care about weaving in as many ends, then you don't have to make as many balls of yarn. And in fact, I just learned the other day that one of the things you can do is just cut off your yarn. So if you use let's say you do 7 stitches of black or green or something like that, you can just tie off at the end of that and just keep working out of that one skein of yarn. I will not be doing it that way because that's that won't make a reversible project for me. If you do it that way, or if you carry your yarn across the back, we'll get more into that as time goes along as well. But if you want to do something and it's not reversible, but you want to still use it as a blanket, then you can sew it or mount it to some fleece. And the only reason why I'm not doing the fleece thing is because I actually hate hand sewing things to fleece. I did it once. I didn't care for it. I used I think it's called mattress stitch. It's a really cute one that looks like a bunch of posts. Like it's got the 2 posts, looks like goal posts, football goal posts. It was super cute, but it stressed me out because I was doing it by hand. It wasn't exactly spaced out perfectly. I did the best that I could and it made me nuts. And I thought, I will never do this ever again. I will just bite the bullet, do it the hard way, and weave in my ends. I would rather weave in my ends than do that sewing, although I do believe it will take me longer to weave in the ends. I will also be weaving in as I go. I will wait until I have Chloe on YouTube. That's my daughter. Hi, sweetheart. I will be weaving ends as I go, but I will wait until, I don't weave them in as soon as I do it. I will just sit down and do a bunch every day, but I usually will let a couple of ends build up because you need those ends to show you which is the right side and the wrong side of your work. All right, I have my thing of yarn. I'm about to have 2 colors. So I'm gonna get out another basket because I don't want this ball of yarn here that I was working on through round 5 is going to stay attached to my work. I'm going to do a couple stitches and then I'm going to add in another color and start working another color, but I'm going to leave this ball of yarn attached. So if you're not familiar with tapestry, that's the basic premise. So this ball of yarn needs to stay out of my way and also not be unwinding and tangling. So I use baskets to manage this. I did a video about this. There's other ways to do this. If you don't like the basket method, go find other videos. I don't have any on them, but if you were to look up Tapestry Crochet, I'm sure you will see different people using clothespins and clips and different things like that. So, all right, row 6, here we go. I already did my chain 2. I will always do a chain 2 when I turn. I'm not usually going to say that I'm doing that because I'm doing a half double crochet, and if you're doing a single crochet, you need to chain 1 and turn. So here we go. Oh, writing is fun, agrees. All right, so my thing says row 6, terracotta 5, linen 70, terracotta 5. Knowing that there's 80 stitches in this, it's not going to be that hard. I'm not going to have to sit out and count my 70 stitches. Start with my 5 in terracotta, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm getting ready to change a color. I will demonstrate this once, but I've done videos on this. I did not finish my 5th stitch in terracotta. I started it. I left the 3 loops on my hook. The only thing I need to do now is yarn over and pull through. But if I do that, actually, let me show you. If I do that, the loop that's left on my hook is now the top part of the next stitch. But my next stitch is supposed to be in this color. I don't want the top of this next stitch to be in this color. So instead of finishing the 5th thing, I'm just going to start the 5th stitch. I yarn over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop, and I've got 3 loops on my hook. And this row 6 is an even numbered row, and even numbered rows are the wrong side, which means I need my yarn to be in front of me here. Normally, we put our yarn strings in back of our work, right? But here we've got a front and a back, and the back of my work is facing me. It's hard to tell right now because it looks the same. But this is the back of my work because it's an even numbered row. So when I need to add my new string, I'm going to pull my yarn in front of me, and then I then I run it behind my needle because I don't want it in my way, right? So I've just basically wrapped it around my needle and into the back. Now I'm going to grab my linen. I'm giving myself a tail of about 7 inches. Do what you're comfortable with. I like 7 to 8 inches for weaving in. I'd like to have more than I think I'm going to need because it sucks when you have less than you need. All right, so I'm just putting the tail in front again because I'm looking at the wrong side of my work. This is the back. So I want the mess facing me. If I were working on the right side of the blanket, then I would have the mess in back. But I'm putting the mess in front because that's the side that is facing me. So I'm just holding the yarn down with my thumb. Oops. Holding it down with my thumb. I'm holding it in my tension fingers like I normally do, and I'm going to yarn over and finish that stitch in linen. See that? So, and now I'm going to crochet across, and I'm going to place a few stitches. Yeah, I can tell. Oh, this one's actually kind of a puffy skein. Oh, I take back what I said about them being scraggly. I guess they're just all over the place. Okay, so I did a few stitches ahead, you guys, just to secure my work. Now I'm gonna go real quick and tie these 2 strings together. I don't want any casualties here. So I'm gonna tie to secure, but I always put in a few stitches. When you tie, I'm not gonna teach you how to tie because we all know how to do that. Don't pull too tightly on that first knot. When you double knot, the pulling tightly should be on the second knot. If you pull the first knot too tightly, you are going to pull the top of one of your stitches too tight and you'll lose it, and then your count will be off. All right, there we go. I just make sure I can still see all my stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Okay. So, and again, wrong side is facing me because this is an even numbered row. I got that it's at the top of the pattern. All odd number rows are the front side and even number rows are the back side. It'll be easier for me to remember moving forward though, because I'll easily be able to see once I've got a couple strings in place, a couple color changes in place, I'll be able to see where easily visualize the front and the back. And that's why when I weave in my ends as I go, because I mentioned I do that, I don't weave them all in. I usually leave a couple up toward the top of the work so that it's easier for me to visualize front and back of the blanket. And if you accidentally put your string the wrong way, there's ways to fix it. Let me know if it happens. I'll show you guys what to do. But essentially, I mean, you can cut the string off and just weave it back through and just you'll have another end to weave in. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Sometimes you can just pull it over. If it's a color where you can't, I'm sorry, if it's in a stitch right below the stitch where you need it and you just forgot, like you can just work it up in. It's usually not a big deal. All right, so again, this called for 5 in this round or row 6, 5 terracotta, 70 linen, 5 terracotta. I'm not going to count out my 70. I've got enough experience to know that I should be good here. But if you drop stitches or if you're worried about it, especially if you've got any sort of issues with seeing where your next stitch is, you should stop and count at least once every couple of rows, because once we get higher up and we're actually doing more color changes, it will matter. You can't just drop a stitch. You can make them up sometimes as long as the pattern will line up correctly. So there's an old saying that says an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And I think about that saying a lot when there's something that I don't want to do, like count my stitches or investigate that smell in the refrigerator. I've learned the hard way, the longer I let it go, or if I'm not preventing something, then I'm later on having to fix a problem, and just preventing the problem is usually easier than fixing a problem in the long run. So, all right, I'm getting toward the end of my row. Again, I haven't been counting, but I know that I need to stop 5 stitches before the edge because my border has 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts me over there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to do. All right. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. I got to my I got to my last stitch in linen, and I need to go back to terracotta. My terracotta ball of yarn is all the way here, over here at the other side of my work. And I'm certainly not going to drag it across, so I have two options. I mean, it's too long to carry across, obviously. So my two options are cut off my terracotta and reattach it here, or add in another ball of terracotta. So I'm going to do another ball of terracotta. I'm going to take my linen and I'm going to move it into the basket on the right hand side because I'm now done with it. And I'm going to grab my other ball of terracotta and put it in this basket. And you can tell it's an old cake. It's part of one that I had finished using, so it's in a different shape. I'd rather use a ball of yarn because I don't think cakes smash down as small as balls of yarn. All right, so again, I've got, this is the wrong side facing me, so my strings need to be in front, oops, including the one that I'm trying to get rid of. So, and I just out of habit was putting him to the back of my work. Remember, if you're working on the wrong side, pull it to the front of your work, wrap it around your hook, and then put it to the back to get it out of the way. Also, when you're doing that and you're holding your hook, if you hold your yarn too with it, you're actually securing that last stitch that's not in there so tight. So, stitch secured, adding in a new yarn, putting that string in the front of me here because I am looking at the wrong side of my work, and I'm going to finish out that stitch, work in the next few stitches. I'm not worried about tying my yarn together right now. I have learned the hard way. There's nothing pretty about the stitches that happen after you tie your yarn that way. It's just smoother if you put in a couple of more stitches to secure it. And then I'm going to tie a knot here. And I'm being very careful when I do this to not pull, especially the very first one, too tight, so I don't disappear any of my stitches. Writing is fun, made it to row 6. Very good. Now it's time to pay attention. Yes. Yes, and then feel bad for me, or now you'll be able to empathize with me when I was working on the live before, working on that other tapestry project where I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, I've recounted this thing 5 times. It's so hard to count and talk. So, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get my 5th stitch in, and I am getting ready to start round 7. It's 7:23. I'm going to go ahead and hit this round. I think anytime I get to the end of a round before 7:25, I'm just going to start another one and then go just a little bit longer than I planned. So I'm starting round 7 or row 7, and looking at this, you guys, it's exactly like row 6. 5 terracotta, 70 linen, 5 terracotta. So I'm getting ready to turn my work. I've done videos on this as well. Doesn't seem like a big deal yet because I've only got 3 balls of yarn. This will be a big deal later. So I'm going to pull my loop out. Just put my hook aside real quick. Pulling my loop out, and then I'm holding it. I don't want to lose any of my work. I am turning this carefully like I have 30 balls attached to it. It's only 2. I start from my left and I go left over, right under. That takes this string here at the far right side is now on top of these strings over here. So it's crossed over like this. So I'm going to grab my far left basket and move it to the far right. If I had multiple baskets, I would grab the next far left and move it to the far right, so on and so forth. But in this case, I only have the 2 baskets. So my work here is done. How impressed are you? I know you are. You can't say it. You're overwhelmed. Okay, row 7, 5 terracotta. We're gonna bust this one out. So I'm gonna do my turning chains. I'm gonna do 4 full stitches, and then I'm gonna start the 5th. So there's 4. And here's the beginning of my 5th. Now I've got the right side facing me, and I know that because this is an odd numbered row and all the strings and mess are on the back side. So right side is facing me, so it's okay for me to leave the yarn behind. I'm going to pick up my terracotta, or my linen, excuse me, picking up my linen. I'm also going to grab another basket to put the linen in. I don't want it in a basket over here with my other ball of yarn because it will pull on it. So I like to keep the ball of yarn I'm working on in its own basket. I'm just going to whip out these 70 stitches real quick. How's everyone feeling so far? Over there in TikTok, is anybody working on this with me? Where are you at? I know Little Bird earlier was on row 5. In YouTube, where are you guys at? I know Writing, you were at row 6 just a minute ago. You said my white yarn is knotted and being impossible. So annoying. So annoying. I've been working with this other yarn on the Floral Fantasia blanket. I'm going to do a video about this too. This other more expensive yarn, it costs, well, it's the same price for like 100 yards less per skein. It's like a third less yarn, and it's awful. I hate it. I can't, it knots, it tangles. It's got factory knots in it like no other. And this Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn brand, has been really impressive to me. I have had minimal factory knots in the last 3 or 4 years that I've lived near a Hobby Lobby where that was my main source of yarn. I've maybe had 3 factory knots, and I mean, think about how many hundreds of skeins I've used. So, all right, anybody over there on TikTok, tell me how you're feeling if you're working on this project with us. And then if you're coming in and seeing it, guys, this is a free pattern. Join us. We just started. And then over on YouTube too. Let's hear how you guys are at, where you're at with this. If I need to slow down, if I need to speed up, if I need to shut my mouth. All right, getting pretty close to the end here. These ones just are so simple. And they're almost like a relaxation on your brain. It's fun when we get to start adding the other details, but it becomes more complicated too. All right, Little Bird's finishing round 8. You're ahead of me. Very good. Let's say we did pretty good, you guys. I feel really good about this. All right, I'm on my last stitch of linen. And then I'm not going to be saying every time what I'm doing as far as shifting balls of yarn, adding and stuff. If you're seeing something you're not sure what I'm doing or why, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you know how to change colors at this point. And I'm going to whip out my last 5 stitches of terracotta. All right. I just wrapped up row 7. My gosh. So row 7 is done. I'm going to set myself up for Monday because I will be back Monday, you guys. Remember, same time. I'll be off the next 2 days, but back on Monday. If you're working on this, especially when we get into the other rounds, upper rounds and stuff, I would love if you would send me pictures or make a video. Show me what your work is. This is really cool. I got one today from Karen and it's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and just flip my work. Again, I go left to right and I take the left over the top. And I only repeat that because you just got to do it the same way every time. And then when you move your yarn around, you shouldn't have a bunch of tangling issues. As long as you always move it in the same direction, you should be able to keep track of what's going on there and without tangling it too much. So, all right, there she is. First 7 rows. So we got through the really boring part. I think we've got just a couple rows where it's going to be this repeated a few times, and then the bottom of the pot appears. We should be doing the bottom of the pot on Monday. Writing is fun. Found the end of your yarn. Very well. Very good. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thank you so much for joining in. I really just had a great time doing this. So let me know if there's anything you need to see in the meantime. Other than that, I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.